What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to episode 10 of Manny's Food Channel. It's your boy Manny, aka Mr. Getting It Done. And on today's menu, I'm going to be making a Korean glazed gochujang chicken leg along with kimchi fried rice. Now, there's not a lot of ingredients or prep to do in this. Half of it is going to be the marinade, and for the kimchi fried rice, it's only going to be about 4 to 5 ingredients. So I had already pre-marinated some chicken legs, but I'm going to show you how I marinated them and how I'm going to make the glaze as well. So all the ingredients you need is some honey, some gochujang paste that you can get from Asian supermarkets such as T&T, some bean sprouts, kimchi, 2 different kinds of green onions, which I'm going to tell you what we're going to use for in a bit, which we're going to do grated garlic, rice, 1 egg, sesame oil, soy sauce, a little bit of sugar, and gochugaru chili powder, which you can also buy from T&T as well. Now, if you don't have this chili powder, you can always substitute it with cayenne pepper, but it's a really delicious chili powder, so I suggest definitely getting it for this recipe. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is make the marinade. So I have around 1 cup of water, about 3 tablespoons of gochugaru because I like my food spicy, also 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 garlic cloves that I'm going to toss in, and I'm going to put around 1 to 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and last but not least, I'm going to put around 1 cup of soy sauce. And then I'm going to quickly blend this up and mix it with some green onions. Alright, next up, I have around 6 chicken legs, or chicken thighs in this case. I'm just going to quickly cut some slits inside the chicken so the marinade sieves into the chicken. So I'm going to quickly do that on all of them. But as I put it into the bowl, I'm going to put just a little bit of marinade inside just to make sure that it's covered. And I'm going to throw in a touch of green onions. And we'll continue to do this step and layer until we're completely done with covering the chicken and the marinade. Okay, so now that the chicken's all marinated, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up and put it in the fridge. Marinate it for at least a minimum of an hour. Now I have previously marinated some chicken that I've actually marinated for 2 days. So I know that the flavor is going to be a lot more intense and it's going to be a lot more flavorful. If you have that kind of time, marinate it a couple days before. If not, at least marinate it for at least an hour. So now I'm going to put this in the fridge. I'm going to start cooking off the other chicken. And I'll show you what temperature and how long I'm going to cook it for. And I'm going to show you the glaze that I'm also going to be making as well for the chicken once it's almost cooked. Alright, so because the chicken takes a long time to cook, the first thing I'm going to do is put that in the oven at 375. I'm probably going to put it in for around half an hour before I test it out to see whether or not it's cooked. And if it's not cooked, then I'm going to put it in for an extra amount of time. Now I didn't put any oil or anything on it because the fat is going to render off, so you don't need to add oil. Now I'm just going to let it sit and cook. Okay, so for this glaze, it's extremely simple. All it is equal parts of gochujang, or the Korean chili paste, and equal parts of honey. Now it's going to be a sweet and spicy kind of glaze, so if you like it more spicy, put more paste. If you like it a little bit sweeter, put more honey, but to keep it balanced, I usually just put 1 part to 1 part. And you don't need to add any salt or anything because the paste comes pre-seasoned. Alright, so my glaze is ready to go. I put 1 part honey, 1 part gochujang paste, and I put about a tablespoon of water just to make sure it doesn't get too thick. If it gets too thick, then add a little bit of water, that's totally fine. Or unless you like your glaze a little bit thick, don't put the water at all. So now I'm going to put this on heat and we can get to making the kimchi fried rice. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and for this recipe I'm going to use sesame oil. I'm going to put around a tablespoon of sesame oil. And the first thing I'm going to do is saute the green onions that I cut out. Now I use the bottom parts of the green onions because it's a little bit more bitter and we can cook that up to extract and provide some of a greater flavor that comes from the green onions. Alright, so I've cooked the green onions off for probably 2 to 3 minutes and they're starting to sweat and wilt down a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in the kimchi and I'm going to saute that for probably another 2 to 3 minutes as well. Alright, so the kimchi has been cooking for a couple minutes. Next, what I'm going to add is the grated garlic. I only put around 1, but if you like garlic, then you can certainly add more. I'm going to cook this off for a minute. Now I'm going to toss in the bean sprouts and quickly cook that off for probably another 1 to 2 minutes. Just until it starts to wilt but not overcooked and still hold a little bit of that crunch. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, before I add in the rice, I'm going to make a little hole in the middle and I'm just going to quickly add the scrambled egg that I have for this dish. And I'm going to cook it until it's almost cooked before I add in the warm leftover rice. Okay, so our chicken has been cooking for about half an hour. My gochujang glaze here has been well incorporated and I only cooked it off until it was everything was melted together. So now I'm going to take some of this glaze and I'm just going to glaze it on top. And I'm going to do this probably around 3 to 4 times just until the glaze starts to thick and starts to caramelize at the very top and provides a nice crunch as well. And then I'm going to put it back in the oven and cook it for around 2 to 3 minutes before I put the next glazing layer on top. So now that the fried rice is fully cooked and well incorporated, we can start plating. And there we have it, folks. The Korean gochujang glazed chicken with kimchi fried rice. And of course, the best part of any meal, taste test and eating the hell out of it. Of course, the most exciting part of any meal, the taste test or eating. So, see how glistening and moist that is, not overcooked. I absolutely hate overcooked chicken. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of kimchi fried rice. Big mouthful. Cheers. This is absolutely freaking delicious. And I try and provide videos and recipes that don't take too long to make, so this one is definitely one of them. Probably takes about half an hour, 45 minutes max. Have a go, try it out, let me know how it is, and hopefully you enjoy. Hi everyone, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. And let me know what kind of recipes you'd like to see, and I'll try and make them happen. Till next time, folks.